I'm young and smart, with tons of heart. I just wanna do things on my own. Open the door for other girls. You don't have to do life alone. We say AMK sister, it's our time to fly. We do this together, I'm right by your side. Take my hand and we go light up the sky. How you raise up your nest? How you like that? Woo! Since you're up next, da 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 da. How you like that?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new MK Girl Thursday. Yes, we are super excited for tonight. Oh my goodness, I am literally shaking right now because I'm so ready for tonight. It is going to be so much fun. So I am going to go ahead and we're going to get started with our introductions. I am Q and I'm ready for tonight because y'all are going to get to the chance to actually talk to us about a ton of things, anything that you want to know. This is just going to be an amazing call. So we're going to go ahead and pass it on along to our sister Nidira.
Hello, everyone. Super happy to be here tonight. And thank you all for always coming back week after week. That gives us so much encouragement. And tonight, like you said, it's going to be really interesting because you guys are going to be able to interact with us one-on-one. So it's going to be really personal. So I can't wait to start.
Exactly. Yes. So now we are going to move it on along to our sister Amaya.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. Tonight is the people's night. It's all about the people. It's all about, of course, all of our aunties and everyone that visits the call. You guys get to interact with us, ask us questions, get to know the tea and the juice. So definitely ready.
Yes. All right. Let's pass it on along to our sister Aaliyah.
Yes, I am here and it's going to be a nice party. It's going to be like a little tea party where we get to know each other. We're talking one-on-one and we're going to get like a one-on-one look on each other's views. So we will be doing like some personal work right here. So it's going to be really fun.
Yes, and moving on along to our sister Nidira.
Good evening.
Oh, we have Karen. Let's go.
It's okay. It's okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Carrington. We're super excited to be here with you tonight and to hear all of your great questions.
Look, the names was getting mixed up.
It's all good.
Alrighty, so now that we all are here, for all of our new people, I have to address the house rules of the new MK Girl Thursday call. So number one is do not sit back and relax. This is a party. We love to hear and see what you have to say about the things we are saying. So use the chat down below if you have something that you want to say. And once we get into the topic, you'll definitely be able to use the chat. The second thing is we love interactions. Listen, this generation, we are into emojis. So if you look down below, you'll see the reactions. You'll see that you're able to do laughing emojis. You're able to do the heart emoji. So use those reactions because we'd love to see them. And then the last one, guess what? Is if you know someone who needs to be on this call tonight, stop what you are doing and text them now. Call them and say, listen, you need to be on this call because it might be something that you need to hear on tonight. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to get into the topic tonight. And we really were thinking about it and talking about what could we possibly do for tonight. And tonight we really are in the giving mode. We love giving back and we love just sharing the things that has been gifted to us because it actually might be a blessing to you as well. So today we were like, well, we can do Ask an MK Girl. So we've already asked, some people have already sent in questions, but you are more than welcome to put in the chat any questions that you have that you want to ask us. And we are really vulnerable tonight. Listen, we are here to share everything that's on our hearts. So this is your chance. You can ask us any question that you like in the chat and we'll definitely be on it to where we can answer those questions for you. So ladies, are we ready?
Yes, you're ready.
All righty. So the first question that we're going to go ahead and start with is, what is the average age? So we get this a lot because we probably all look like babies. We get that all the time. So what is the average age? We can all just go around of the new MK girls. So I'll go first. I'm the oldest. I'm 24, but I joined Mary Kay when I was 23. So that's when I signed my agreement at 23 years old, but I am 24 now.
Mhm. I'm the second oldest, so I'm 22 years old now, but I signed my agreement when I was 21.
I'm the third oldest. I'm 22, and I joined when I was 20.
I'm middle. I am now 21, and I joined when I was 20.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was the baby, not the baby anymore. We got one more who is 19 today, Miss Armani. She signed hers when she was 18. I signed mine when I was 18, and now I am currently 20. So yes, that is the ages of all of us on here.
Right. So we are constantly growing. We are growing. Okay. So the next question, ladies, is who does our social media? How do we handle that? Who does that? They said, help a sister out. So who does our social media?
That is a very good question. And we get that question a lot, especially because social media is one of the ways that, you know, we get out there, and that that's a way that a lot of people see us as well. And so we get that question a lot of how do we do our social media? And the real answer is that all of us on here, because we have different personalities and because we have like a different vibe and feel, all of us on this call put into the social media. So it's not one person doing everything. All of us put in our own stuff basically. And the thing about social media that people don't realize is that people think it's like a time thing, or people think like there's one way to do it, and really there's not. With social media, sometimes you'll post something and the thing that you think is going to get all the likes and all the follows and all that isn't the thing that gets likes and follows at all. It might be the thing where you were being silly, or the thing that you were just sharing a personal hobby of yours, and a thing that you thought nobody cared about, and that's the thing that everybody ended up liking. And so that's just how social media rolls. The way that you can, if you are looking to post more, or if you have that goal or desire to post more, start off small. As you're starting off, maybe you start off posting, and then as you're posting, you'll notice more time. So let's say you post at lunchtime every day, or let's say you post at lunchtime on certain days. It's always up to you, because depending on who you attract, which are the people who are drawn to you, they're going to just do what they're basically going to be drawn to you for you. And that's the main point that you want to understand. And so each person's page is different, and each person's vibe is different, which is why we all put in, because if I'm like me, there's somebody else who's like me as well. If there's a Nadira out there, they're going to resonate with Nadira. And so that's the whole beauty of social media, is that you never feel alone, and there's always somebody like you.
Exactly.
Right. There's no wrong way to do it at all.
Right.
There's just the fact that you're doing it and you're putting your steps forward in the right direction towards gaining your audience and to gaining the attention that you would like on social media. So a lot of times people think like, oh, is it like something specific that you use? What's the app? But even the app is not the answer. I'm going to give you guys some tools, so get your pencils ready. But you want to be able to put yourself out there. And like Aaliyah was saying, share what actually motivates you, the things that you love, because whatever is true and genuine to you, that's the person that you're going to attract. The stuff that they're interested in, because you're interested in it. Because that's what we do. So some of the apps that we use that I would recommend are InShot and Stories. A lot of people, they stay in our stories. They're like, oh my goodness, why are they so pretty? It's because of stories. It makes the job really, really simple. And InShot also makes the job really, really simple. There's tutorials. Any way that you educate yourself and any way that you want to use it, definitely I would say is A1. But like I said earlier, you want to put one step in front of the other and at least do something every day or every other day, because it doesn't even have to be every day. But to step forward is what we're looking for.
Right. I love you said that, Amaya. Just putting one foot in front of the other. Don't overthink it. Don't think it has to be perfect. Just start. And I promise you, it will get easier along the way. So I love that question. Now, this question here is super important because we all probably at one point have gone through this phase of being afraid of talking to people. So this person asked, how do we stop being afraid to talk to new people? They said that they're having trouble with getting new clients. And so they just wanted to know, like, how do you even get over the fear of approaching somebody that you don't even know? So what would you
start that question? So when you're speaking to somebody, yes, there's the option of them saying no, and then there's the option of them saying yes. But to go into a conversation and kind of knock out that fear, you want to go in knowing that there's a possible rejection and acceptance. So whenever you go into the conversation, know that they can say yes, and they also can say no. Now, of course, we all want them to say yes, but sometimes that's not what it is for right now. So you really want to go in with the concept of saying, okay, I know what they may or may not say, but how am I going to tailor the conversation? So whether they say yes or whether they say no, it should still be the same conversation. So when you get that in your head and you know that whatever this is, it's just a conversation and you know you're not doing anything wrong, then you can go into the conversation with no fear. Whenever you take the emotions out of it, then you can just go back into it and say, wait a minute, I'm offering somebody this really great opportunity that I know has really great benefits that they can meet other people with. There's nothing wrong with that. So now you can go into the conversation with no fear. And it's okay to have fear sometimes. I'm not going to stand here and say that I am completely not fearful when I go into a conversation. Sometimes it happens, but how to get over that is you take a deep breath and say, I'm just having a conversation. I'm showing this person what I do that I know is beneficial. And then you say what you have to say, and then they have whatever they want to say.
Right. And I love that you said that, Carrie, just because sometimes we have to get it out. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, what's the worst that this person can say? Well, go ahead and say it. Don't hide from it. Go ahead and get the objections and the rejections out. Say them out loud. Don't say them in your head.
Yes.
Them out loud, so that way your brain can identify them. So we know that if you talk to someone, the worst that can happen is they say no. Another thing is they might say, I don't want to talk to you. Another thing they might say is, yeah, no, I don't like that. Or COVID, get away from me. Like they can say anything under the sun. Like going ahead and getting it out and saying it allows your brain to understand that it is the possibility, but it also allows your brain to not have as much fear. Because your brain only has fear when it doesn't know what's going to happen. So the more that your brain can know, and the more that your brain can start to understand and identify with, then it's like, well, I know that this person could potentially say this, but I'm still going to go ahead and I'm going to do it, because it's not about the outcome. We were talking the other day and we were saying it's either you're practicing or you're earning. Either way, you're going to win the conversation. It doesn't matter how the outcome looks. Either way, you're going to win. Because even if the person does say no, you won because you actually practiced doing it. So that's your win. If the person says yes, you earned yourself somebody that's as a customer, or you earned them as a team member. But either way, you look at it and say, I am going to win this conversation regardless of the conversation. So that's a way that I help myself, is whenever I'm getting ready to talk to someone, I just tell myself it's not about me and it's not about them. It's all about just practicing and getting the reps in, because you know that the more that you do it, the better and the easier it becomes. So that would be my tip for that one. So yeah, I would love that. I love that you said that, Carrie. Did anybody else have an answer for that one?
And I like how you talked about the positive or practice. It's either you're going to get a positive answer or you're going to get in some practice. And I would say for myself, my natural personality is on the reserve side. Now, a part of my personality is the reserve side. Another part of my personality is, when you get to know me, I talk a lot. So I would say for me, what I've found about talking to people and that having that fear, because initially when you come up to people, you're going to have a part of fear. And so a lot of times we have fear because we're thinking too far into the future. We're scanning and we're thinking about every possible outcome that there can be, and every way it could go wrong or every way it could go right, or every scenario they could say, and everything that we could say all about the same time. And by the time you think about all that, the person has walked away. And so the way that you can get through it, that part, if you have that struggle, is one, taking it one person at a time. You might have to say, when I go in the store, I'm just going to talk to one person. Okay. You may look and be like, okay, I miss this person. Okay. Let me talk to the person at the cash register. Hi. You might have to just start with one word. Okay. Then from there, you're going to lead a conversation. You might have to have a question of the day that you have to ask people. And so let's say if you're asking, hey, I was wondering how are you doing today? Do you like your job? How long have you been working here? Okay, those might be your top 3 of the day. You might go inside the store and those might be your top 3. You might go inside your job and be like, what job did you have before here? Top 3. And so giving yourself a place to win. Sometimes it's not about the action itself. Sometimes it's about the preparation. Sometimes you have to put things around yourself so that you could succeed. So for you, if you have to have certain questions, if you have to give yourself a goal of somebody to talk to, maybe it's one person, maybe you have to talk to a cash register, maybe you have to talk to somebody who's a janitor, maybe you have to give yourself somebody who's in a certain profession to talk to. Like today, I'm gonna talk to somebody who's a janitor. Today, I'm gonna talk to somebody who works at the bakery. Today, I'm gonna talk. You might have to make it a game. You might have to make it fun for yourself so that you could get past the goal and so that your brain doesn't think, I'm gonna get hurt, I'm gonna get rejected. Because anything that we do as humans is either pain or pleasure. If it's pain, we're going to shy away from it. If it's giving us a positive reaction or pleasure, that's when we want to keep doing more of it. So the more reps that you get or the more confidence that you get from the positive conversations you have, the more likely you'll be able to talk to more people.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. So that's one of my favorite questions. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. So this person asked, well, they said that they want to become a director, but they're just discouraged right now. Right. So let's congratulate them first. But that is a big step, but it's so much fun when you get to the other side. But anyways, they said that they want to become a director, but they're just discouraged right now, and that they've done DIQ, which if you don't know what that means, that's director in qualification. So that just means that they're working to become a director. And they said that they've done it twice. So is there any advice? Because some people might look at that as a failure, but we all know that it's not. So what would you say to that person who's feeling discouraged about moving up in their business?
The first thing I would say is to not give up at all. Because as soon as you give up, you just counted yourself out. Like, how do you know how this was going to end if you didn't try all the way to the end? So I'll tell my story about DIQ. Everybody doesn't go through DIQ the same. DIQ is supposed to teach you lessons, lots of lessons, not just one. And so I got into DIQ the first time. Thought I was going to knock it out the park. I was so confident because you know what it takes to get into DIQ. You have 10 team members. I was confident, flat, nothing. First round. Second round, I really thought I could read some books, like get myself together, do a little bit more talking to people. I really focused on team members that month. Flat, nothing. Again, third month, I was done with people. I didn't want to touch people anymore. I wanted to focus on the money, the production. Fell flat again. You can only do DIQ 4 times. On my 4th round, I was like, that's my last round. I wouldn't have been able to complete DIQ till another 6 months. So last round, I definitely made up my mind that I needed to be in Atlanta in January with my sisters. So that last month, I promise you, I did every and anything possible. I went out with some of my sisters for sales. I focused on people. I was talking to people, letting them know my goal. I was always on the phone. I just did what I had to do, and I stuck it through to the end. So I could have, done something like take a break and then started over, but I didn't do that. I finished my goal all the way to the end. So you don't know what's going to happen until the end is there. And actually seeing it through all the way is the lesson that I learned. Because a lot of times people with me, they're like, Amaya, are you really going to stick to your word and do what you said you were going to do? Because I change my mind quite often. I kind of get a little bored. So that was the lesson that I learned. So definitely don't give up. That was my lesson. I want to pass it on to you because it's not over until it's over.
True. I would say the lesson for me that I had to learn was resilience. Because for me, like you said, Amaya, when you think about directors or when you see them, you think it's like, okay, one and done. They had it, it was pretty simple. They already knew how to do it. But for me, I did DIQ 3 times. So the first time I signed up, I was just going. I didn't really have a feel of how it was going to go, didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't make it. Now, the second time around that I went into DIQ, I literally made it all the way to the end. Like I had my 13.5, I had my 30 people, everything flipped green, and I was like, okay, bet, I'm finished, I am done. Only to find out that I was only short $300. And I was like, what in the world? How did this happen? Because it flipped green. I was like, what in the world is going on?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just really disappointed. I was shocked. I felt like a failure because I was like, okay, I did all of this work and now it's for nothing. And instead of going into like a fourth month and continuing on, I had to start over, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And so now I was like really overwhelmed. I was really stressed. In that moment, I really had a choice to either just sit it out and just figure out how I'm gonna get this together, because there's no way in the world I'm going to go start over a whole nother 13.5 and a whole nother 30 people, or I could just go ahead and just keep going and just see where it takes me. It really strengthened my faith. That was one of the main things. It strengthened my faith because I could not see how this was going to get done at all. But I just knew if I just kept moving, if I kept people around me supporting me, giving me direction, I knew some kind of way it was going to get there. And that was just one of the many lessons that I needed to learn. And just you learn about yourself and how you're going to grow. You will think there are things that you never thought you could have done before when you go through DIQ. So when you do go through it, trust me, you're going to learn about yourself, and you're going to be so amazed at the person that you become, because it's not going to be the person that you expect. And you're going to be so happy for you and so proud of yourself to say that, hey, I had to go through this challenge and this obstacle, but guess what? It got me over here. And now guess what? I don't even remember that. Or I remember it, or I choose not to go back, because it was all worth it. It was all worth it.
Wow, that bounce back ability. And the good thing about that is people don't share these stories to discourage anybody who wants to move up. That's not the point of these. The point of these stories is to realize that if somebody else can do it, you can do it too. Right. And when you have a situation like how Nadira did, the people that she coaches, the people that she's mentoring, there's a certain level of empathy that you have for people as you're working with them, and you truly understand them as a person, of what it feels like to be disappointed and what it feels like to go through those things and how to get people through it. Because sometimes when you move past a goal, you're so past it that there are things that you forget that they have to learn. And so those are things that you're going to be able to do. And so we have another question. Our next question is, how do you deal with your peers who think that Mary Kay products are for older or matured people like their mom? Very good question. This is a question that we get quite a bit sometimes. So I would say, for that question, how to deal with people who think that the products are for older people or for their mom, or I think it's all about what they see. And so a lot of times when they say those things, a lot of times we just brush it off. But I would encourage you to ask more questions about why they think that. And as you can see, social media is so powerful that you're able to show them something different. And a lot of times when they say that, it's just something that's been repeated, because a lot of times what we've realized with the people that we've recruited who are around our age or who are our peers, they don't know nothing about Mary Kay. It's a clean slate. And so a lot of them have either never heard of it, or a lot of them, they're like, oh, my auntie did it, and that's about as far as it goes. And so it's all about what they see. And another part of it could be that when they're talking about that part, they see the struggling part of it. And so you can encourage them and say that you can do this another way. You can be your own boss, and putting their personal situation in the mix of how it can work for them. Because a lot of times we just give them everything and we throw up information. Right. And we don't ask enough questions to know how it could work for the person. So if she's having financial problems with school, or if she has 2 jobs on top of school, you could be like, oh, well, she might not be looking for money. You could be like, this could be something to free up more of your time. I know you're looking for time. This could be something that you could earn skills on your resume while having time to figure out what you want to do. Those are things that you would know when you're listening to how you're asking questions. And so those are things that you would want to encourage them to do. Anybody else have what they would like to say for that question?
I would say too, one of the things we handled it is, or we continue to handle it, is we always identify what's familiar to them. So sometimes because they are in a younger generation, a lot of the people that we deal with, they've never heard of Mary Kay before. So a lot of the college students we talk to, when we first met them and we asked them, hey, have you ever heard of Mary Kay? And some of them are like, no, what's that? They don't even know it's a person. They don't even know it was an actual woman that was living who created the company. They believe it's just a made up brand. So they really don't know what it is. So you kind of get to start with a clean slate. You don't have to worry about, what their family have told them. Now, we do run into somewhere their families have passed down certain things, whether it's positive or negative, where they are just repeating. They never went through it themselves. They're just repeating what somebody told them. So one of the things that we did was we kind of started creating our own vocabulary, and we started using it with them. So that way their brain, if they have a preconceived notion of what they think Mary Kay is, then they're able to see that it's not what they think it is. And so one of the things we would do is, instead of saying parties, because sometimes they might be familiar with the word party, and depending on their experience with it, or whether they've seen their parents experience with it, they might not agree with that word. So we say things like show and tells or beauty sessions, and things that they're actually familiar with seeing on social media. Instead of saying selling, because with this generation that can be a scary word, we say recommend. We're recommending products. We're recommending the opportunity. So whenever you are talking to someone that's young and you hear those objections of, oh, they think it's for older people, we just basically let them know that it's for anybody who's willing to take advantage of the opportunity. It has nothing to do with the age, the background, anything. Mary Kay is for anyone. So that's what you would go with. So I would highly encourage you to start just kind of looking at some of the words that you're using, because words are powerful and words have pictures. Some people, whenever you say a word, something pops up in their head and you can't really control what pops up. So that's something that we usually do, is we look at some of the vocabulary, and although we respect the vocabulary and we still use it depending on who we're talking to, we find that with dealing with younger people, the best way to go is to go with words that they're more familiar with. So that way they can make the connection and they don't get confused and or scared by what you're saying. So that would be my tip for that one.
And also another part of it is just knowing that fear comes from lack of knowledge and or lack of seeing other people doing it with them. So whether they've never seen a young person do it before, that may also stem from why they're being apprehensive about it, or they're saying no. So another part of it is, if you want to go about the customer way, if you're trying to give them products, is let them try something. I think about back in high school or in middle school, we went to college fairs and all the colleges came to us. Guess what they gave away? Free t-shirts, cups, bags, and I was having a ball. So just think about it, looking back at them now. They want to try things. They want to see what the cleansers are like. They want to see the moisturizers and the hydrogel eye patches that makes their skin glow and look like pearls. They want to see those things. Whenever they see it and they can feel it, that kind of gives them the vision, saying, oh, I think I could do this. I think I might like this. So whenever you are showing them what it is and what it looks like, they are more likely to say yes. Because if you're just giving them words and you're showing them pictures and videos, that may not be convincing enough for them to say yes. You have to let them try something. Watch a facial, let them get a facial, and you teach them how to apply the cleansers and going through the steps of how to keep a clean face and take care of themselves. So that's another part of it, especially when they think that it's for older people. Yes, I did think the same thing as well. But when I saw my sisters here doing it, and I said, oh, there are young people doing it and it looks fun, that encourages them to keep going.
Right. And so just remember that with this generation, they are very skeptical about things. So just the more you have, the more information you have, the more, like Carrington said, proof or evidence that you have, the better. That's why I love the samples, because the more they can see and feel it, the better it is. And the more they believe you and they trust you. So we have another question. And this one, This one's funny. Okay, so she said, what do you feel is the best way for us older, LOL, consultants to approach younger folks about Mary Kay? So what would you ladies say to someone who wants to approach younger people? How would they do that?
Would say this opportunity is all about freedom for people that's our age, the freedom to do what they want. There's so much that the future holds, and that pressure that people put on them to know what is the next for them, that kind of clouds up their brain and their ears, because they're like, well, they want me to do this and they want me to do that, but what does that person want to do, that person that you want to talk to? So really relating on a level of mentorship to them is really going to be the key to talking to someone that is our age or a little bit older, a little bit younger, depending on which one of us you're talking about. So definitely that. Also, everybody is pretty much a visual learner, especially our generation. We've grown up with phones and computers and tablets and watching TV. So having a visual representation of what you see for whatever young lady that you're talking to is definitely going to be the key to them seeing themselves in the opportunity. And then that will make them want to know more about what it is actually. So we have this video that we kind of made, and it paints the picture really clearly on how and what Mary Kay can do for them. It can do for them sisterhood, which of course we enjoy, the money, the everything. And it really sums it up really good. It's on our YouTube channel, it's on our Instagram, and it's on our Facebook, and it can be used as a marketing tool. And then of course, taking them through the page, showing them what we have done, and other ways of being mentored, and really just linking up with whoever that young lady is and taking her underneath your wing.
Right.
Yeah. That's a really good one. And I would say another one is talking to them, not at them. A lot of times when, as a younger person, when people are talking to you, they're just telling you, do this, don't do this. It's a lot of commands. You want to get to know them as a person and talking to them and not at them, because then that's a turn off. And so when you get to know them as a person, think of it as talking to I don't want to say one of your friends, but think of it as talking to a regular person. That's really what it's all about, is people are people, regardless of age. And if the more that you that anybody grasps that, the better you'll be, because a lot of times we can prejudge, or we'll do what I like to call shuffling the cards. And so shuffling the cards is basically when you try to shuffle to get the good hand, but when you get a good hand, you can still lose the game. If you have a bad hand, you can still win the game. And so a lot of times you prejudge the girl who looks like she's super quiet. She doesn't really talk to anybody. But honestly, that might be the girl who's looking for more. A lot of times, as a younger person or in this generation, a lot of times people don't talk to you because either A, they assume you already know, or B, they think that you don't want it anyway. And really that's a myth, because a lot of people want a mentor. A lot of people want personal growth. A lot of people want the sisterhood. A lot of people want the support. You might have somebody who wants one more than the other. And so if you're talking to a girl and you immediately shoot for the money, that might not be what she's looking for. She might go ahead and turn it down. But if you were talking about the support and sisterhood, that might be something that she didn't have. So it's all about asking questions and making a connection. If you think about the connection part, it'll be easier, because the main thing you want is a relationship with the person. Okay. You got to think about it. These are random people. They have no reason to trust you. And we've been taught stranger danger from a very young age. And so as you build a connection, it will make it easier to give them the confidence to say yes. Just practice getting them saying yes to little questions like, do you go to school? Yes. Do you have a job? Yes. And if those questions are no, do you like what you do? Yes. Do you have any hobbies? And so when you get them in the habit of saying yes, just in a little tiny things, they'll build the relationship so that the no, if they do say no, they know it's not personal, and they know that they're not hurting your feelings, but they're more apt to say yes because they know it's coming from a good place and they know the person. They're very loyal to the person. And so that's a very key part as well.
Yes, I love that you said that, Aaliyah. So we're actually going to go ahead and play the video just so you can see it and get a little feel of it. This is our recruitment video. It's actually on our page. So you actually get to see just a different side of Mary Kay. So when you're showing it to the young people, they get to see this side of Mary Kay as well. So we definitely suggest showing them this.
Look, life after high school can be filled with changes and challenges. Yes, I know. Everyone expects you to have all of the answers to life, but what you really have are more questions than you do answers. When will I be happy? Where do I find my people? The ones who explore with me, inspire me to achieve my goals, and, make me laugh. Who will accept me for me? Well, we will. We're the new MK Girls of Mary Kay, and you see, Mary Kay is not your mama's makeup. It's more than what the old people around you think they know. This company is for you. It's a safe space where you find your people. It's the ones who will be there with you on your best day, worst day, and guess what? Every day in between. And I promise you, when you join the new MK Girls of Mary Kay, you will find the key to everything that you have ever wanted.
Wow.
Listen.
That video is definitely a tearjerker, if I have to say so myself. And so this video is on our Facebook and Instagram. So if you have a young person and you're not really sure how to put in words what you do, or you've already built a connection and you don't really know how to share the opportunity or say really the words that you can say, this is a video that you can share. And so it will say all of the message that you have that we know that Mary Kay can give you. We know the support. We know the sisterhood. We know the events that give you confidence. We know all of the stuff that it could give you. But how do you translate that in words? Like we said, we are visual learners. So we're going to end it on a lighter note. So if you invited somebody tonight, go ahead and put your name and their name in the chat so we can give you a auntie roundup. So we're gonna go ahead. So if you invited somebody, go ahead and put their name in the chat. Put your name in the chat so we can give you guys a shout out. As you can see, we did like a Q&A session. Loved it. We had some very interesting questions.
Yes.
So they were very fun.
They were. Very amazing.
Loving the chat right now. We have tears. Oh my gosh, no. Oh my gosh, the tears.
That video brought back a lot of memories.
We got a fan.
It's a combination of everything. Okay, I want to be 25 again. Oh my gosh, I just love this. Yes, makes me want to do Mary Kay over again. Loving this right here. And so, was there anybody who invited anybody tonight?
I don't think tonight. Oh wait, hold on.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Stand corrected. And so we have Miss Elise Ingman, who invited a few young ladies. I would love to get to know those young ladies' names so I can shout them out. Thank you, Miss Elise. Yes, Miss Elise, for inviting people. We love you, all of our aunties. Oh my gosh, this comment rolling and crying. I can't even wow, that comment is amazing. Oh my gosh. And so thank you for inviting people, Miss Elise. Thank you for inviting the young ladies who came to our call. And we love seeing all of our aunties. We call all of our supporters who have either supported us through our page or maybe you've met us in person. We call all of our people aunties because we are all family. And so we will see everybody, if there's nothing else to say, we will see everybody.
Oh, they forgot to hit.
Oh, no.
It's okay.
It's okay. Look, you still get a shout out.
Where you thought you said something and you didn't. I totally understand. I've been there. And so we will see all of our aunties next Thursday at the same time with a different topic so that you can get more of us, so that we can get more of you. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
For other girls, you don't have to do life alone. We say, oh, MK sister, it's our time to fly. We do this together, and I'm right by your side. Take my hand and we go light up the sky. How you raise up your nest? How you like that? Woo! Since you're up next, da 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 da. How you like that? Since you're up next, da 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 da. Now, look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Since you're up next, now. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Since you're up next.